Okay, I've got my white chocolate melted. It's nice and manageable, it flows nice. And the first thing I'm gonna do is just put a spoonful in the bottom of these Oreo molds. And that's the part we're gonna print on. And then I'm gonna set it in my freezer. So you can see it's not very thick, just enough to print on. And I'm gonna set that in my freezer for 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna do the chocolate ones. So this one is gonna be the opposite side of the hot chocolate bomb, and it's gonna be all chocolate, and it's gonna be a shell. And I'm gonna put a spoonful in, and then I'm gonna bring it up the sides like this so that I cover the sides completely. Now these are Oreo shells, and I got these shells, the company I got mine from was Spinning Leaf, but honestly I got them 10 years ago, so I don't know if they're even still available, but I know there's lots of Oreo shells out there that you can use. And the same thing, you want to bring it all the way up to the top of the rim, and you could use a brush or whatever. I just have gotten used to using the spoon. And you want to make sure you don't leave any spots undone. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to put these in the freezer also for the same amount of time as the white ones. And then when the white is done, I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to fill them up with chocolate the rest of the way and put it back in the freezer. Okay, so you can kind of see here, we got all the chocolate in there, and I'm just gonna, I can see some spot there that I missed. And what I will do is after it comes out of the freezer, I'll give it a really close look. And if I missed any spots, I'll just put some more chocolate on it and let it set. So these are all gonna go in the freezer for now. Okay, so they've been in the freezer for 5 minutes, and you can kind of see it's just a very thin coat. So I am going to now fill the rest of this one, the white ones, with chocolate. And I'm just gonna put it up over the side. Make sure I get a good coat. But I don't want it too filled up because I want to put marshmallows and hot chocolate in there. So I want it to be hollow as much as possible, but as stable as possible. And then I'll put this back in the freezer for probably 5 minutes to get it nice and hard. And then I'll show you the chocolate side. If it's good and cold and frozen, they pop right out of the mold. And I did try to print this a couple different ways when I had the two sides melted together, but I did not have success. Mine were just too high. So I will print these before putting them together. Okay, so that's the top part. And here's the one, the chocolate one that we did. And it looks pretty good, but you can kind of see right there where I missed a spot. And I just kind of shore up the ends so that they're not fragile, and put a little bit more chocolate just right around the ends to make sure I cover everything. And then while the other ones are setting in the freezer, then I'll let these set again, and then I'll show you how we pop them out. And again, I'm going all the way to the top. And you kind of melt them together to form the hot chocolate bombs. So it doesn't matter that I'm kind of being sloppy here, because when I melt them, I actually use an electric skillet to melt them, but you can use whatever you want. But when I melt them together, it makes them the same size. It'll melt it down. It'll melt down all these extra little pieces. Okay, so they're out of the freezer now, and we're just going to take them out of the shells. Turn it over, and I just gently, it should come out very easily. You just gently push on it. So those are going to be the bottom of the shells. Then these are going to be the ones that we print on. See how pretty, but it's just very thin. And it doesn't matter that this is uneven because we're going to melt that. But the one thing that we are going to do before we actually print on it is see how shiny it is. It's just nice and shiny. And that's wonderful. But Eddie doesn't like shiny and it won't print nice. So I am going to use a paper towel. I'm going to use a paper towel, and I'm going to gently wipe the shine right off of that. And I don't know if you can see that difference, but there's a big difference between the two. And then the ink will be able to get in there. And the bottom half, the chocolate half, is going to be nice and shiny. And then when we're done, I'm going to print on the top of here, and then I'm going to fill this one with marshmallows and hot chocolate. And then I'm going to melt them both in a skillet, and I'm going to put them like this, and that's going to become the hot chocolate bomb. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to print on the hot chocolate bomb shells, and I am going to print manually. And I know, hey, come back here. I know, oh, stop it. I know where I need to print it. Eddie just was in a bigger hurry than I was. So I'm including a hot chocolate bomb and a marshmallow and gift boxing them. And I will let that dry for a full night before I do, before I put them together. I'll give it an overnight to dry. So I'm going to do a marshmallow right on the time. And my settings, I have the saturation bumped up because marshmallows and chocolate will take more. So they're up to 80. And my taco cookie lift is actually at 0, and Eddie is finding the right one. Okay, so now we'll let the top dry before we put it together. Okay, so it's day 2, and we let the prints dry overnight on top of the shells, and now I'm going to actually fill them and finish up. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll take the bottom side, which is empty, and I just use my electric skillet, and I'm trying to find it on the, and I just put it down for just a couple seconds, and you'll see it immediately melt. I have this electric skillet on warm, and then I'm filling it up with a little bit of hot chocolate, some mini Lucky Charms marshmallows, and then I put a couple of regular marshmallows in there. And then I'm going to bring the top and just set it on top, and I kind of check it real quick and make sure that there aren't any holes, and it's done. So let's go to the second one. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. So when you melt it like this, it just kind of makes it even, so I don't have to worry about, you know, it being just a little bit uneven, because you need to have a tight fit. So we'll do a gingerbread. Close it up. I'm going to kind of check it. It looks like, and if for some reason you don't get a good close, you can always go back and add chocolate. But I would do that after they cool down, because it can get messy. All right, so this one is going to be a penguin. And yesterday, I remembered that I had some 3-part Oreo shells too, that I got the year that all of the bombs were so popular. And I made some of those shells yesterday, so I'm going to try it. So you can see here that I got a big gap on the side, and I'm just going to let that dry and harden, and then I'm going to fill that gap in with a piping bag and chocolate. So this one, I have an order for 4 gingerbread. So that's kind of perfect. And this chocolate that's in this pan will be perfect for finishing up some of the holes later, if I have any. If you've made hot chocolate bombs the old way, which I did too, in fact, I'll swing the camera around in a minute. I got to do those next. These are like single serving size, which are perfect for kids. My big ones, which are 70 millimeters, that really is enough to serve 2 people easily. Okay, so that's all 5 of them. And here you can see them. And then here's all the regular bombs that I'm going to put together. And then these guys are the ones that I did using the 3-part shell. So I'm gonna try one of them right now. Let's see if you can see that good. Okay, so on this one, all I'm gonna do, see how much nicer that shell is, and that's made with the 3-part mold, Oreo mold. So I'm gonna heat it up like we did the others. And I'm going to fill it like we did the others. And I have a lot more room in there, so I can give them more marshmallows, which is what they love. And then I'm just going to melt that top just a little bit and see if I can get that to work. I'm not so sure that that's going to work. I'm going to try it. Hold it down, see if I can get it to set. and it might work. Looks like it might work. And I'm gonna get out the gloves to do on the rest of them, but I just wanted to see if this would work, and it will. So that's a nice little hot chocolate bomb. That one. So that one worked really good. It's not as tall as the other ones, but it worked. Let me clean up Santa a little bit. All right.